Hi, everyone. Welcome to our September meeting. Our guest tonight is Murray Dewhurst from New Zealand. He's a graphic designer and he's been very, very busy. So we have not been able to really talk to him about a lot about everything, but I'm going to let him tell us his story. And I'm anxious to see us painting in gouache. Thank you. Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm finally working, I think. That's awesome. So I'm a sketcher based here in Auckland, in New Zealand. I've been sketching regularly since about 2008 or 9 or something like that. And but I was sketching a lot earlier, like through the 90s and that sort of thing. But I'd never actually met anyone else who sketched in a sketchbook out at large in the world, and so I thought it was a bit of a strange thing. And it wasn't until this urban sketches movement started and people started sharing their work online that I realized I wasn't actually that strange. Other people like doing it as well, and I think that inspired me to continue and experiment and that sort of thing. I got involved with Urban Sketches posting on the blog back in 2011, I think it was. So that was a bit of a learning curve, sketching and also writing stories about the subjects that I sketched and posting them online and that sort of thing. So that was amazing experience, learning from other sketchers around the world, which is cool. And should I flick through some of my sketchbooks so people can see the sort of thing I do?
Yes, that will be great.
All right.
Thank you.
I started out back in those days doing watercolor and pencil sketches, like most of us do, I suppose, pencil, and then I moved to fine liners with my watercolor. But back in about 2018, I was asked to create a mural, and to do that, I used a bunch of these Posca pens, and I found that quite exciting because they're opaque. It's like an acrylic paint, and it's opaque. And so I started using those in my sketchbook. And after a while, I've started to transfer from the Posca pens through to gouache. So this is I use gouache in a watercolor palette, exactly the same as you would with watercolor. I'm sorry it looks so messy, but the only thing with putting your gouache into your watercolor palette is that the paint can crack. So you'll see I've already sprayed some water in there because it gets quite dry. So I try to keep it hydrated, keep it in a Ziploc bag and that sort of thing. And this is the sort of stuff that I do with it. Maybe I'll start with older stuff. So this is my pencil and watercolor style. These are particularly tidy examples. They're not always as tidy as that. And then I started experimenting with the Posca pens and fine liner. So that's all that is, that work there. And now jumping ahead a couple more years, this is what they look like. If anything, my sketches have got looser, I think. I call it sketching backwards because I apply a grey wash first to delineate my subject matter and then apply the colour last, second to last, and then some fine liner detail on top if it needs it. I think I'll show you, I went to India earlier this year and I've been sticking with the brown color lately, so the brown pages. It works really well with your opaque colors because they pop off the page. And as you can see there, you can probably see there's my grey. There's a little bit of grey still visible underneath the sketch. Then I've come over top with my opaque gouache color in the sky. And then I've used a bit of fine liner for the detail on top. So that's my sketching backwards concept. I went to Kerala in India, and these are the buildings and sites around Kochi, Port Kochi. They have these amazing old, they call them Chinese fishing nets, and they lower the structure with a net attached into the water, and then the following day they lift it up, hopefully with a great harvest of fish. This is just a neighborhood in Kochi. Found it fascinating to stand on a street corner in India and watch the life go past. While I was sketching this one, a procession appeared from a temple on the left, and they were carrying two boys in sort of ritual clothing on a sort of a shoulder carried chariot, and there were drummers and trumpeters, and this was all before 8 o'clock in the morning.
Now streaming on the free CBS News app. New data from the
That's a
U.S.
beautiful
Census
old-
released Tuesday shows that the gap in pay between men and women has grown for the first time in 20 years, even though both men and women have seen their incomes
Excuse
increase
me,
steadily.
will everyone please
A man's-
mute their mics for now while Lori is speaking? Thank you.
This part of India has lots of ancient architecture. The Portuguese and then the Dutch and then the English have colonized it. So there's architecture going back hundreds and hundreds of years. So I found it really fascinating. This is the remains of the old fort at Fort Kochi. And that's a old Dutch building. Some traditional fishing boats. A lot of these sketches in here are very quickly done. So this is, I was catching a ride in a auto rickshaw, and the driver asked me if we could quickly stop at his mechanic. He needed to book his rickshaw in for some repairs. So this is his mechanic underneath this rickshaw, which is propped up on one side, sort of like a dog with its leg cocked. It's fascinating to see that sort of work happening in the street. And this is a little further along, all the butcher's shops open onto the road. So this is buffalo hanging and being broken down by the butchers for sale. This lady, Parvati, invited me in to watch her making poppadoms. Do you know poppadoms? The round, crispy Indian snack?
No.
They're made with a chickpea flour. They roll them out very, very thin, and they're about so big. And you would eat that with a curry. I made some portraits of, this is Ravi Balakrishnan. He invited me over to India to join the Thrissur Puram sketch gala, it was called.
How many days were you in India? Because I
I
see
was
many
there for
sketches.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was unusual for me because I didn't travel with family or friends, so I was sketching all day. So I filled this sketchbook cover to cover.
That's wonderful.
That's Zainab Tambawala, amazing artist. Chaiwala, and part of the trip was to go to the Thrissur Pudam, which is a Hindu festival where they have it's an amazing festival, but they have see if I can find it, up to 100 elephants are in attendance. Here we go. This incredibly noisy, massive event, something like 1 million people visit this town for the event, and there are rows and rows of these elephants. They have the polished forehead plate. They have three men standing on the back doing various ritualistic things. So holding up umbrellas, waving these fluffy pom-pom things. There are shields get held up at various stages. And all the while there's an orchestra of musicians playing full-time. It's just outrageous. It was amazing. And there's wave on wave of these elephants that are slowly walking towards the temple. It's quite an experience. Oh, there we go. Oh yes, they're called mahouts. The guys who look after the elephants are mahouts. So I got little snippets of them walking through the town. This is a banana market in the town. And this is some of the food I ate. It's a sadhya meal served on a banana leaf with the various curries and pickles applied around the leaf. And the day I drew this was the day I was also learning how to eat properly with my hands, because that's the correct way to eat there. So there was quite a bit going on at mealtime.
I thought you couldn't eat their food.
Oh, yes.
Oh, really? Because I've been told that when you go to India, you can't eat their food because, we don't have those kind of bacteria.
Oh, right. I think that might be referring more to street food, perhaps.
Okay.
But I mostly ate in restaurants, and the food was great. Didn't have any trouble at all. But I'd heard so many stories about other people who had, I was a bit worried, but it worked out fine.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
The gray that you use, is that also one of these paint markers, or is that like a alcohol or a Tombow, or is that just
Actually,
watercolor?
you could use gouache, but this is my very messy watercolor set, and I use the Payne's Grey watercolor.
Okay.
And I quite like that because it's not that strong. I dilute it, and you can get a loose sort of shape sketched in. It's not so strong that you can't hide it if you make a mistake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
What else can I show you? I like to draw cars. So I've got that's a classic kind of car that I would draw. I enjoy drawing the old classics. That's an English Ford, a Mark II Zephyr.
Love your cars.
And that I would have done a quick grey sketch with that. Then the red Posca pen, which would be that sort of thing. Oh no, I might have used a bigger one than that. I think I used this one. And it has I quite like using the fat nibs. I think the tendency is for us to use fine nibs, but the fattier your nib, the quicker your sketch. So I've just quickly drawn that in. And then I've used my finger in places to smudge it around a little bit. So you see some little hazy bits. And then the black line and the white highlights have gone on last. This is an old boat builder's yard, a little bit north of Auckland, about an hour north of Auckland. And that is mostly gouache. And some landscape beach paintings from the same trip. But I've used a combination of watercolor really. This is watercolor for the water, so it's a bit more recessive. And then the opaque gouache over top, which sort of makes everything pop out.
Really good.
What is the paper that you are using? Is it a brand or a book you put together?
Yes, this is it's a Hanamula craft
Okay,
sketchbook. So it's very, very basic, cheap one. I think this is craft that's actually acid free, I think. But it's essentially butcher's paper, really. Same color.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, I'll comment on your compositions. They're really nice. It's real easy and smooth to look at. So you
Oh,
don't
nice.
you don't fiddle too much with the, unnecessary information. Really nice.
Good. Yeah, I think I'm getting better at that. I used to draw all the little details, I draw every brick on a building or that kind of thing. So I've enjoyed going with, I think with the larger markers and brushes, it's helped me step away from that stuff a little bit. I'll sometimes use a flat brush as well, which helps with these larger, backgrounds to be able to fill an area quite quickly. I think that would be about half an inch, about 10 millimeters, something like that. But for the most part, I'll use, a water brush. Would this be a good time to start the rickshaw demo?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that would be great.
Now, this sketchbook is a Strathmore sketchbook, I think. Yes, Strathmore, and it's like a lighter craft stock. Yeah, I'll just get that rickshaw picture loaded up. So there we go. So everyone else has that image available, do they?
Murray, what is the weight of the paper there in your book? Do you know?
I would say this is about 300 gram.
Okay.
The craft paper is usually lighter than that, but this one in particular is quite a good hefty board.
Pretty rigid, yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's quite smooth. Right. I'll go ahead and start doing my grey. Suggest my subject using the grey. Some people call it a grisaille. I don't know if you've heard that French word for grey. I think the masters used to use a grisaille in the underpainting of their oil paintings and things. But, so I'll just mix up a very light wash really. And then I'll use that to just start feeling out my subject matter. And the thing with this that I quite like is, I think based on the fact that I usually don't have a huge amount of time. Like in the past, I would have got a pencil out and sketched out the lines of my subject and got everything kind of quite tight. And then I would have come in with a fine liner and done the outlines and then essentially colored that in. But now that I'm using opaque media, I feel there's a safety net there. If I don't get this right, I can paint over it with the gouache or even a Oscar or one of those sort of markers if I need to. So I'll just be quite loose. I should be more diligent about measuring my subject too, but I like to just crack into it. And I think some of those little imperfections in a composition can be what makes it more interesting anyway. So I don't mind if it's not perfect.
Are we supposed to be painting this with you?
Yes, if you'd like to, feel free to join in. I chose this rickshaw because on that trip to India, I was fascinated by them. There are just thousands of them, and there are no utility pickups, not many trucks. Every business runs one of these, and it just seemed like a completely alternative way to do what we might do here, without all the big flash machinery, if you know what I mean. And they're kind of cool to look at as well. They are either a lot of them are this Piaggio Ape model, but there's also a Tatra, an Indian Tatra model, which looks almost identical. I'm just trying to get the basic shape in place. I think what I'll do later is I'll block the sky in, so if with the pale blue, so if I get this awning of the ice cream truck wrong, I can fine tune the detail of that with the gouache. Oh, that's a bit dark for the stage. I like to keep it light so I can make a call later on if I'm on the right track. I like to squint and just see if I can identify the darkest parts of the drawing. It helps to simplify the image down, I think. Feel free to ask any questions while we go.
This is when we all get quiet.
Right. I'd love to see how everyone's going, actually. It's a shame I can't see how you guys are going. Maybe at the end we can have a look.
So you're really putting all your shading and everything in at this point.
I would like to be able to get the darkest darks in there now, but I think sometimes for safety's case, I'll leave the darkest of darks for last once the yellow has gone in on that vehicle on the side of it, and just see how the dark light balances, and then add a bit more darkness if I need to. I don't like to use black I think it's a bit too dark. I think I'm using my brush at its fattest, actually. I push it down so it makes big wide marks at the stage. I'll just add some shadow beneath the rickshaw so that it doesn't look like it's totally floating. Oh, I like how there's a brick or a cobble just behind the back wheel there, which is stopping it from rolling backwards. I hadn't noticed that before.
Emergency brake.
Yeah.
When I first looked at this, I thought there was a tent behind it. And then I
Right.
got to really look and it was like, that's on top of it. That's amazing.
It is, isn't it? I don't think you'd get a permit to run that vehicle in Auckland, in New Zealand. But it's a shame I didn't take the photo on the other side with the operator looking towards our sketch. That would have been nice. But I think by the time I got to this, I'd been drawing elephants in that ceremony for a few hours, and it was 45 degrees. It was you did time to move on and get a drink. I like to squeeze the water brush and just get some splatters in just to create a bit of texture and character there in the background. Right, I might just darken some parts up before we go to colour. But the paint's great. It takes a couple of layers before you get a really black. Just like to have that ability to slowly build it up and not, not ruin it by going into it too quick. How many people are going to use gouache today? Is
I
it
am-
something everybody?
I
I
am
am.
using gouache. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Wash.
Quite different sketching while you're sitting down and looking at a screen. I'm usually standing on the street. In India, it was kind of cool because everybody seemed to stop and have a look and a chat. I find here in Auckland, people tend to ignore you if you're drawing on the street. But in India, I made lots of new friends. Like every few minutes, there'd be a new person to come and say hello and introduce themselves.
Oh, nice.
It was really neat. I met a lot of cricket fans, and I felt bad that I'm not really up to date with all of the cricket scores and players. A lot of them knew the New Zealand players better than I do.
Okay.
I'm not going to worry about the background. I think for it to be a proper urban sketch, drawing there on site, I'd want to get some people and that other rickshaw there on the left, and that'd be quite a nice composition actually. I think today I might just focus on the ice cream truck. Oh, yes, there's a handrail there, isn't there? Some sort of rail. as I'm going along now, I'm just fine tuning some of that detail before I move to color. Some of it will disappear when I apply the color, but ideally it'll speed up the process at the end, so I won't have to add so much detail at the end. Might move on to color now. Is that okay, Hannah? Or am I going too fast?
No, I
Yeah.
think it's perfect.
Okay, cool. I quite often have more than one of these water pens with me. And I'll use one for darks and one for lights. Then I don't have to clean the brush out to swap over to the lights quickly.
Okay.
Oops. The brush wasn't clean. I find yellow really difficult. The pigments often aren't that opaque, so it takes a few layers to get the intensity of yellow that you want. And I'll mix a bit of orange with that to hopefully get a rickshaw yellow. Ah, I think it looks a bit cleaner here in person. It looks quite murky on screen. I think what you see is all right. So after all that talk about using gouache because it's opaque, this is the sort of least opaque gouache, and it takes a few layers to cover anything underneath. I turn the sketchbook a lot to get nice straight lines when I need to, or curves. I'm just mixing some white in to get some variation in my yellows. And to create some highlights. I'll just indicate these. On the top right there, you've got their plastic sleeves full of ice cream cones hanging off the back. They love ice cream over there. I think because it's so hot, it's pretty obvious they'd be into that, I guess.
Yes, I have a friend that attended that festival, and she told me she's from India, and she told me it was really hot. But
Yeah, I noticed even the locals found it too hot. I went over from about 17, 18 degrees Celsius, and over there it was 45. So took a few days to get used to it. Did she enjoy it?
yes, she said it was really good. I saw her sketches.
Cool. Right, change to green. Get some green on there.
Yeah, my friend is an admin from USK Bengaluru.
Oh, right.
Yes. So her name is Shruti. And
Oh,
she's,
yes.
yes, she's also a volunteer of the social media urban sketchers like me.
Yep. We met.
Mhm.
I think she came to Auckland, didn't she?
Yes, yes, she was there too.
I can see my green flags aren't really lining up with the underpainting very well. It's okay. I think I'm going to cheat with this sketch. I've lost a bit of the perspective in that image where you can actually see the canopy on the other side of the vehicle. It's in behind here. I think probably because I've been sitting down and not standing up, I've flattened the perspective slightly, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to keep it simple. So do you meet every Wednesday night to sketch together?
I like to stand up to sketch. Is that what you said?
I was just wondering about if you meet every Wednesday night to
We
sketch
meet,
like
we meet once a month on Wednesday on a Zoom meeting, but we sketch in real life. We try to do it 3 times a month.
nice.
Except for in the summer, it's been so hot here, we have not met that much.
So as it gets cooler, you'll be able to resume that.
Yes,
Really
next month, we're gonna really hit it hard.
nice. Yes, Urban Sketches Auckland is now twice a month. And we've got one this weekend at a local, I think you'd call it a sailor bar. It's like a bar inside a shipwreck. It heaps of memorabilia on the hanging from the roof and old sailing relics, charts, bells, you name it. It should be fun.
So you're gonna do a drink and draw?
Yeah, I think we won't have a choice for that one.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Just trying to get my green a little bit fresher. Give it a red in on those wheels. I think these rickshaws are 150, 200 cc. So they have engines that are like a lawnmower or one of those ride-on lawnmowers, I think, that sort of engine.
It's like a motorcycle engine, right?
Yeah.
You like to do draw cars so much. The first week of June, we do a 100-car sketch. So we'll send you an invitation for that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. We did our first one this year with Wes Douglas. You know Wes, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And he did a Zoom with us, showing us how to, sketch cars. And then we just said, well, if somebody does 100 people sketch, why not do 100-car sketch? And we had fun with it. We really had fun with it.
That's a lot of cars, though. Did you manage to get to full 100?
Yep. A lot of people got 100 to 100 in 7 days. 100
Awesome.
cars in 7 days. Good.
start to get some of the detail now. Up
Well,
in the
it's-
awning.
And it's not just cars. I think they did like trucks and tractor trailers and all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh,
So-
yes. Oh, your tractors are great. Particularly rusty old ones. All right. I might just apply a bit of sky. I want to pick out the shape of the awning. Now, the rickshaw is looking pretty loose. It's got those loose underpainting in grey is showing around the edges and down the back here. It's not very well defined. So I know in reality, not much of this is framed by sky, but I think it'd be quite nice just to pick it out. So I could clean one of my brushes. Yep. I think the white I'm using is Winsor & Newton titanium white. I think it is, and it's really nice and opaque. So it's covering that background really well. I know in the image the sky doesn't come down this low, but I'm just going to cheat a little bit and use it as a chance to differentiate the shape of the awning there in the front of the windscreen. So I want to just make a window in underneath the awning, under the canopy, and around the ice cream man's shape of his head and the top of that ice cream cooler. Let's see if I can make that work.
So for this trip to India, how many sketchbooks did you take with you, or only one?
Only one.
Oh,
Risky, eh? It it did have 60, I think 60 spreads.
mhm.
So I thought that would be enough.
Okay.
And pretty well in the end, just at the airport, I had to fill the last 2 pages.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like it isn't more. And this book was made by an urban sketcher in Melbourne called Janice Ng. I don't know if you know Janice, Anna.
No.
She's a really nice artist, but also very good at making books.
Nice. And just your wash palette and your brushes, that's it?
That I took to India.
Yes.
I took some tubes of color as well, just in case my palette ran out. And I did have to top it up a few times.
Mhm. So you travel light, you pack light for urban sketching.
I think if I take any more, I end up carrying things I don't use.
Mhm.
Okay, now maybe a few details in the, going to add a few white details to it now. Loosely. I might do that with Posco actually. My brushes are looking quite grubby. Let's see.
You know, if you take a paper towel and you just squeeze the water out until you get it clean, then you have a clean brush again. It's a technique I found out. Give it a try.
I've used my paper towel up though.
Oh.
So with it being so humid in Jacksonville, do you find your paint sometimes takes a while to dry?
It's so hot though. You know, because it's so hot, you don't notice it. Even though it takes a while, it's so humid, it's hot. So it dries.
Oh, nice.
A lot of us are long-term Floridians, and I think we get used to it as well.
So it doesn't seem that hot to you.
Well, I don't know about that, but about the drawing of the watercolors or the mediums that we use, I think we get used to whatever it feels like, if that makes sense.
Yep. So it becomes sort of second nature.
Yes. Yeah.
When you work with the material. Actually, when I went to India, I took all of these Posca pens, intending to use them and a little bit of gouache. But I found, because they'd been in a pressurized cabin in the plane for 14 hours or whatever it was, when I went to use them, they would all splodge. So all of the ink would just ooze out of the
Road. Oh,
and it from there I decided, oh right, I think let's just see how we go with the gouache, and it worked quite well. Just adding some highlights now. Okay. Now I'm going to get my fine liner and add a few little details. This part can be a little bit of fun because the fine liners don't always flow nicely on dry gouache. So let's see how it goes. I'm using these Artline calligraphy pens. They have a flat nib. Don't know if you can see that. Oops. So it's a sort of wedge shape. So you can get a fine line as well as a fat one. This is a 3mm. I don't want to add any detail to the edges of the drawing, if possible. I want to let the loose outline do that. Unless it's not clear, and then I'll add a bit more detail. And as I draw, I like to just rotate my wrist a little bit, and you get a variation in your thick and thin lines. Ooh. I missed some Lautzer lettering on the top of the canopy. I use these jelly roll white gel pens for the finer highlights. I don't want to add too many, just enough.
I'm so glad you told us about these Posco pens because I just bought 20 of them the other day for a different
nice.
art project, and I never thought about using them for painting. And I went over the red gouache, and it's so much brighter than the red gouache for those little ice cream cones and all.
Yep. Yeah, I would never have thought to use it either. I don't know why I tried it, but they're really designed for larger projects, aren't they, than a small page? But I had a black, I think it was about 20 mils wide, millimeters wide, the big fat one. And I managed to use that a lot in the sketchbook, even though it was so wide. Are we going all right for time, Hannah?
Yes, I think we are almost by
Yes,
the end. By the
I
end.
think we are. I think we're just past the time when we should be. If we can do a show everybody's work, that would be great. Are you almost done?
Yep, I'm almost there. I think I could fiddle around for a while now. But yeah, we could stop now if you like. I'll just get this rail, and I think it's kind of a major part of the structure of the vehicle.
I was having so much fun doing this. I wasn't even looking at the time.
Yeah, me too. I've just been very happy to be doing this. We're so busy at the moment, and I can see that emails have been coming in. People will be wondering what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. It's almost your lunchtime there in Auckland.
What time is it there in Australia?
He's in New Zealand. New Zealand is 1 p.m.
Ah,
Right.
All right.
done.
We're going past our time here. So I'm gonna have to cut you short. That looks so fantastic.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show everyone's camera. Okay.
Oh, cool.
That's beautiful. Okay, and I will spotlight a few people if they are ready. I'm going to with Glenn first.
Nice. I like it.
All right, Glenn.
Very cool.
Nice.
Really good. Okay, now with Jamie.
Where is Jamie?
Oh, nice one.
Oh, Jamie, that's awesome.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Very good. Someone else. Connie, okay, from Orlando.
Wow.
Oh, very
Oh,
nice.
clean.
Really good.
Got the
You
whole
got
thing on.
everything there.
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
Someone else is ready. But no.
That was only a postcard too size, which I don't know how I got so much stuff in it.
I'll show Jessica.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh, wow,
Really
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah,
Very
that's awesome.
nice.
Nice, Jessica.
Oh, you've got the
Beautiful.
guy in nice detail too.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, look at the background too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very clever.
Really good.
Cool.
Lisa, are you? Jess, you are muted. You're showing your markers, but you're muted.
Oh, I was saying I cheated and used these guys. I have Poscas too, but these were those acrylic brush markers that have
Nice.
this kind of tip on them, so you can
Ah,
actually.
so flexible.
Huh?
Nice.
Is it a flexible nib?
Is it a what?
A
Flexible.
nib.
Oh, it's very flexible. Yes. Yeah. Very.
Oh, nice.
Brushy.
Yeah. Very.
I
Sorry,
don't know if
squishy.
we can get those here.
Nice.
I'll look out for them.
Okay. Lisa, I will spotlight you. Very good.
Very
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Beauty.
Yeah,
Very good.
awesome.
Patrick.
I'm going with Ruth first,
Ruth.
and then with Patrick.
Ruth. There's Ruth.
Oh, yeah.
nice, Ruth.
Awesome.
Very good.
Very nice.
Very good.
Got more detail than me.
Patrick, let me.
Very good.
Oh,
Really
oh yes.
Awesome.
nice.
Very nice.
That's quite a bit larger, isn't it? A3.
Very nice.
Patrick is phenomenal at cars.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Really
What
is.
paper have you used there, Patrick?
Pardon?
What paper or pad have you used there?
It's very similar to yours.
Oh,
That's more toned.
Could even be the same paper, I guess.
Yeah.
Who else is ready? Can you show me your sketchbook and then I go and spotlight? Phyllis. Okay. Phyllis.
Phyllis. Oh, very nice.
Wow,
Phyllis.
Phyllis,
Nice.
Yeah.
what'd you use? The Poscas?
You are muted,
Oh.
Phyllis.
You're muted. You're muted, Phyllis.
Sorry. I used the jelly gouache and then the white, I used my little pasta,
Nice.
paca, however you pronounce it.
On a grey
Posca,
paper,
yeah,
like
a
that?
pen for the white and some touches of the red.
Nice.
Nice.
Very
Nice.
nice. Phyllis.
Really good.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Debbie.
Okay. Mhm.
Just a little bit here.
Oh,
All right, Debbie.
Nice.
love it.
Nice.
I like your shadow colors. You use like a purple?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is
Blue.
just pastel pencils I used.
Nice.
Right. That's good.
That
Very
worked good.
Yeah.
Nice texture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was wonderful.
Svetlana? Yes. I don't know if you, yes. Svetlana, I don't know if you can show your, probably it won't show because of
You have the background blurring.
there,
so-
there, very good.
There
There,
you go.
don't move it. Nice.
Oh,
nice.
nice. Oh, that's
Nice.
big. Very
Very
nice.
good, very good. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm going to show mine.
Got everyone?
It's very nice.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do.
There you go.
Sure. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
very
great.
pretty.
Oh, look at your contrast. You did really well getting that
Yeah.
to pop off the page. I like
Ah.
that.
Thank you.
Nice.
Am I
That
missing
sky over the awning, isn't it? That
That
pushes
one?
Yeah.
Janet,
it out.
Okay. You can see it.
Ooh,
Look
Nice.
at that. That
I
looks.
love your colors.
yes.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
You
Real
picked
pretty.
really lovely colors.
Very good.
Yeah.
More painterly, isn't it?
Mhm.
Can we take a group picture? If you hold your
Oh.
phone, your sketchbook, please.
You know, this was so good. I looked at the scene and I was so intimidated by it, but this was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Okay. Ready?
Oh,
One.
you'll be in India next, drawing them for real.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Maury, this was really good. I think that a lot of us don't use gouache very much, and I'm going to use it a lot more for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
It's not everyone's cup of tea. I think everyone will give it a try, and for some they'll love it, and some they'll go back to watercolor or whatever markers they were using. But definitely worth a try, eh?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's right.
Mhm.
Very
Thank
fun.
you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Oh, I'm very
Yeah.
pleased to have shown you how I do it.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Thank you
care.
so
you.
much.
Come see us next Florida
Thank
sometime.
you.
All
Right,
right.
see you guys.
Well, good night.
Good
Good
night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Happy
All right.
lunchtime.
I'm hungry.
Take care. Thank you.